The Bible Treasury. A monthly magazine of papers on scriptural subjects. Volume 19, Article 1, Part 78 of 93, 1892 and 1893. The Early Chapters of Genesis. By William Kelly. Genesis 10 verse 26. The name of Eber's second son was, as we have seen, Joktan, small, as distinguished from Peleg, whose name, division, marked as an epoch the more peaceful dividing of the earth, after the judgment of God necessitated the dispersion of mankind. There is no substantial reason to limit the division to the family of Eber himself, when the younger branch migrated into southern Arabia, the elder remaining in Mesopotamia. Had this mere family split been referred to, the younger son would more naturally have borne its name, not the elder who abode where he was. Besides, how can an event so ordinary meet the large terms employed? In his days was the earth divided. The Chaldee paraphrase on 1 Chronicles 1 verse 19 suggests that Joktan derived his name from the diminution of human life at that time. Certain it is that then longevity sunk one half, judging by the recorded years of Peleg, Genesis 11 verse 18 and 19, and of those that succeeded, diminishing by degrees to its ordinary range. Joktan appears on abundant evidence of varied kinds to answer to the Arabic Kishta, and of them the Beni Sad, and of the cotton Arabs. Masudi says in his work entitled The Golden Meadows, that they are the only remnants of the primitive tribes of Arabia. Most of the other tribes, etc. But the two tribes above mentioned, the Beni Sad and Cotton, are famed in the most remote antiquity, when Arabian history, for the greater part, is covered with complete darkness. Burkhart's Notes on the Bedouins and Wahhabis, 247, 48, London, 1831. We shall see that the traces of his 13 sons are almost all plain enough also. This had been doubted by some who conceived it to be a Jewish tradition adopted later by Mohammedan writers. Why should anyone doubt that the II plus or minus II plus or minus I 1/2 AII plus or minus I superscript 1 of C.L. Ptolemy, Geographic 6-7, are the Beni Kishta N or Katanis? In Pliny, 628, and Strabo, 16, they seem spoken of as Katabani, and II plus or minus II plus or minus I superscript 2 I plus or minus I 1/2 IAI, by an inversion not uncommon among Greeks and Latins. Dionysius Perrig speaks of the same tribe under a name very slightly changed, of which no account appears in Smith's Dictionary of G&R Geography. Modern research, however, has not only vindicated the fact but explained probably why the change of the name was effected. Of his numerous sons, we glance at the four named in the verse before us. And Joktan begot Almodad and Chalef and Hazarmaveth and Jerah, verse 26. The first enumerated corresponds with Mudad, or, as the word admits the article, El Mudad. Bochet in his Phaleg, 216, long ago connected the name with the A1/4 III 1/4 I plus or minus I superscript 1 AII plus or minus I superscript 1 of C.L. Ptolemy, 6-7, A24, who held a central position in Yemen or Arabia Felix. There seems no sufficient ground to heed Gazanius' idea that the name is a variant from Al-Maram, so as to trace it in the tribe called Morid living in a mountainous region of the same country near Zabad. Next comes Shalef or Shalef. This name has been without reasonable doubt identified with the district of Sulaf or Salif in southern Arabia. The elder Niebuhr gives it as Salfi, in his map Selfia, Desker 215. More recently Dr. Oziander gives an account of the tribe Shalif or Shulav, as Yaqut in the Mojam and other Arabic authorities which complete the geographical traces. Indeed Ptolemy, 6-7, had of old told us of the I plus or minus II plus or minus II 1/2 IA 1/2 or A 1/4 II plus or minus II 1/2 II as the Greeks called the people. Here is, therefore, proof in this case still clearer than in some. Mr. G. Forster, Geographic of Arabia, in both his volumes labors to identify the modern Meteor tribe with the Salapini or sons of I plus or minus III as their chief is called by the LXX. They were close allies of the Beni Kishtan against the Kedarite Beni Charb or Karbani. Hazarmaveth plainly answers to the district east of the modern Yemen, called by the Arabs Hadramawt, Court of Death, also in the south of Arabia, situated on the Indian Sea, and, if unhealthy, no less famous for its rich spices. One of its ports was Zafari, the Safar of which we read later in this chapter. Here again, there is satisfactory evidence that the third in the list of Joktan's sons furnished the name, rendered I pound I plus or minus II 1/4 II by the LXX. And Asarmoi in the Vulgate. Jera or Urak the moon is the fourth, which Michaelis in his Spiceleg. 260 in the lowland of the moon, or in the mount of the moon, both of which were near Hadramawt. It is needless and against all probability to follow Bochet's notion of the Alilii dwelling near the Red Sea. Mr. E. S. Poole, Smith's Dictionary of the Bible, I. 264, traces the name in a fortress, and probably an old town, mentioned as belonging to the district of the Nejad, which is in Marib at the extremity of the Yemen. Indeed Arab tradition, as we may see in Golias, sub voce, is in nothing ancient more unanimous than in styling the son of Joktan father of Yemen, Abu Yemen. His name appears in the LXX as A 1/4 I plus or minus III, and as Jair in the Vulgate. The Arab name may be represented by Sh or Sirha, giving the H its guttural pronunciation of Ch. G. Toll speaks of the IAIIIA 1/4 superscript 1 III 1/2 on the Arabian Gulf, and of the A 1/4 superscript 1 III 1/2 I degree II 1/4 I on a river near the Persian Gulf, which appear to point to the same family, wide as they might be apart. Mr. Forster brings many other names under the same reference modified by slight changes of name and sound, just as Ptolemy's river Lar on the east coast seems no other than the Zar of present day, which the Latin geographers confirm who translate it Flumen canis a dog, which the Arabic means. The great region of Karja copyright, he argues, derives its name from Jera according to an anagram quite common in their proper names.